Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to be taking a look at another scenario in my series of scenarios. This one is based on one of my all-time favorite scenarios, which is basically the desperate defense of a country as it gets attacked by enemy bombers. Man, does that sound familiar. The first scenario I ever built for command modern air naval operations was actually a scenario where basically the east coast of the United States got hit by the 500 bomber Tupolev raid. And that was very interesting to try to use the 102s and the 106s and the 104s to try and intercept it. Anyway, so today's scenario is pretty straightforward. What we have is the northern half of Russia here with a bunch of targets that we want to be able to protect. We have the PVO basically at our disposal, pretty much all of the PVO of the Kola Peninsula. We also have a couple extra bonus units here. We have some canvas bags, which if you're wondering why they call them that, it's because they have a radar mounted on the back, and what they would happen is when a NATO aircraft would fly over, they would actually cover the radar up to try to hide its purpose. But basically, we have 4 of these radar picket subs. But honestly, if we detect enemy bombers at this point in this scenario, we're probably already too late to intercept them. One of the problems that you're always going to be facing when working in this part of Russia is the tremendous amount of landscape that you're going to have to protect. Fortunately for us, we don't have to worry about this side of Russia. This would be a nightmare to try to protect. We only have to worry about this side. So what do we know about our opponent? First of all, they're going to be using B-52s, probably C's, D's, E's, and G's is probably what I would expect, especially since I set the scenario up. And we know they're probably going to be coming from the 2 Air Force bases in Greenland. What we don't know is when they're going to launch. As a matter of fact, that is a random element of this program. To help us out with this, we fortunately have a little spy boat, it's a little commercial trawler, that's going to be keeping an eye on Thule Air Force Base. So if they launch, we're going to have a little bit of warning. Now, what's our strategy going to be? Well, let's take a look at what we have at our disposal first. Let's go browse scenario platforms. Let's go ahead and take a look at aircraft. So we have Sukhoi 15s, which is pretty nice. It's actually a very infamous airplane. One of the good things about it is it's a very quick airplane. It's a solid. If you want to think about it another way, just imagine a really big MiG-21 kind of a thing. Scrolling down here, I can see that we have a 340 nautical mile radius, which is not great. Do we have any time? Ugh, not much. We have fish pots, which are also pretty lame. I'm not gonna lie. This was aircraft had a terrible engine. It was the AL-7F, I think. Yes, it was the AL-7F. And let's see what we have for a range here, radius. I don't believe it's very good. 300 nautical miles. Yikes. We have these, which technically we don't have because this says it's 1970. It was basically when they actually got out the PVO units around the Soviet Union. But I've added them in the scenario anyway because they actually came out in 65 and it's 66. So maybe we've got some prototypes. These aircraft are going to be our saviors if we're going to hope to get any remotely close to a positive score. We have Sukhoi 11s as well. These are the fish pots. These are an upgraded version of the 9. They're not great. And they're just, oh man, it's so hard to work with these aircraft sometimes. Just scrolling down, we have a slightly better missile system, but we have 180 nautical mile intercept radius, which basically means we can't use these aircraft for anything. Last but not least, we have the MiG-17, the PF version. This is going to basically be the interceptor version of the MiG-17. It's decent, but if you actually scroll down here, you'll notice that we have a 300 nautical mile intercept radius. Yuck. Okay, so how are we going to win this scenario? Well, first things first, don't count on anything on the ground to actually succeed at shooting anything on the air. One thing the B-52s had of this era were 1 megaton nuclear warheads mounted on a cruise missile known as the Hound Dog. It is a nasty, nasty weapon, and it's going to do a lot of damage to basically our frontline guys. Fortunately, though, it's only a 400 nautical mile radius, which means if we can somehow block them at the ocean, they can't get to the soft interior, so to speak. Second thing we got going is the fact the United States is not going to cross Finland. The Finnish Air Force would put a bunch of dents in them if they tried to do so. So the attack on Petersburg is probably going to come from this vector. The attack on everybody else is going to come from this vector. So when we're setting up our overall defense, we can go ahead and kind of vector them in a little bit. So let's go ahead and start getting everything moving. I'm going to go ahead and accelerate time here. We'll go up to 5x here. So basically, my fiddlers have the longest range of everybody. They have a 600 nautical mile radius. They're going to be operating out of down here, basically. Let's go ahead and grab Zatlagi Air Force Base. 600 nautical miles gets us an arc all the way up to here, which is what we're going to need. All the way up to here, which we're also going to need, although our Sukhoi 15s can operate up here. And we're definitely going to be using them to protect Petersburg here. So let's go ahead and set up our initial objectives. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set myself up a little area here. This is basically going to be the easternmost air defense patrol area. And I'm not going to launch my aircraft until we get a little bit sooner. My next one, I'm going to probably imagine, again, I'm just doing the vectors real quickly here. It's going to be something like that. So the next one's going to have to basically be right in here. This is going to be my next, this will be my center control area. And then for Petersburg, we're going to have to get some aircraft in the zone. Keep in mind, in the real world, you have a ton of aircraft deployed here that could help us out with this. But again, we're just working with what we got kind of a thing. I'll go ahead and set this patrol up here. So let's go ahead and assign these missions right away. Let's go ahead and control patrol east. Do patrol, AAW patrol. If you ever get that error, it just means that you've accidentally crossed your waypoints. It's no big deal. Make this mission inactive. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to grab a quarter, I should say a third of my Tupolev 128s. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Boop. I'm going to go ahead and set this up so that all of them launch together. I'm going to go ahead and set it if they're in weapons range, and I'm also going to change the number of hostile flights. You got to be really careful with this. That's a kind of a common mistake here. Okay, so now we're ready for that zone. Now you're probably going, why aren't you launching? I've only got 1 hour on patrol station, and it takes an hour and a half to get to the patrol station, which means I need to launch when I have an hour's warning when they're going to be entering this kill zone. Yikes. I'll show you how to calculate that a little later. Let's go ahead and go set this in. I'll call this patrol center. Patrol center. Again, I'm using patrol missions as opposed to intercept missions. I'll need intercept missions later. Let's go ahead and grab this group. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Whoops, said it's inactive first. Yeah, I have to go back and do it again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Perfect. And now we can go ahead and set up our last one as well. Now you're probably going, how do we know that the war started? Well, our little patrol boat will give us a little bit of warning there. First thing is first, though, I want to actually fix my little mistake. We're going to send everybody, of course, and we're going to reduce the number of attacking flights. You don't want them to be wasting time. And you'll see what I mean when the big attack comes. Keep in mind, there's nothing we can do about the Hound Dog missiles. They're just going to scoot right through. There's nothing we have right now that can actually get them. We'll do call this Patrol West. In the real world, the VVS could help us out with this. We'll do patrol, make this set to inactive. It's fine, no big deal. All fixed. Let's get the rest of my fiddlers. Okay, so those guys are going to be my heavy hitters. I needed them to basically do the support and block the holes that my smaller interceptors can't do. Speaking of my smaller interceptors, what can we use them for? So let's take a look at who we have here. So we have this particular group here. These are 11s. I think they have a terrible radius. It's like 180 or something terrible like that. Yeah, 180 nautical miles. That is to here. So we basically can't use these aircraft is what it looks like to me. I mean, I can use them to kind of plug this hole right here if something gets through, but in general, unless there's somebody silly enough to actually get through the zone. So knowing the fact that we've got enemy bombers coming from this region going this way, probably, like I said, into our hinterlands, we can actually roughly estimate where we'd be at the closest point, which is probably going to be something like here. I'm going to go ahead and deselect everything real quickly. Let's go ahead and rename this point. We'll call this Su-11 Max Intercept. Again, I'm just leaving myself a little note here. It's about 180. So if anything crosses that point, we know we can intercept it. But man, is our timing going to have to be perfect. Let's go ahead and take a look at who we have. I believe these are 9s. 9s, if I recall correctly, don't really have a great radius either. Their radius is 300. It's a little better. So that's going to get us an arc that looks a little bit like the... Okay, see, I can work with this. This is a good arc. So let's go ahead and cut the difference here. We'll go ahead and estimate something around here. And I'm going to go ahead and call this one, let's see here. We were working with the Sukhoi 9s. Su-9 Max Intercept. Again, I'm just getting everything nice and set up for myself to make me a little bit easier later on. Is there a spy boat spotted anything? No. So now we have the max intercept for the 11s, the max intercept for the 9s. So let's go find what we can do as far as everybody else goes. Where are our buddies, the 15s? Those are 11s. I'm guessing Afrikanda. Yeah, that's what I was hoping to find. There's my 15s. These guys have a little bit tighter range. I believe it's 340 nautical miles. Again, we're just going to guess they're going to be coming through directly through there. 340 nautical miles, that's pretty good. I can actually put that right here. Let's go ahead and cut the difference down about 300. Set this one off, shut this one off. I'm going to go ahead and call this one. Whoop, can't rename two at a time. Su-15 max intercept. That'll just act as a reference to us as well. All right, beautiful. So when we do our operations here, it looks to me like the Sukhoi 9s are going to be our first strikers. Our Sukhoi 15s we can use to kind of plug any gaps, because again, we'll have this whole room in here. And then our Sukhoi 11s, if somehow the bombers get there, we've already lost the fight probably. And meanwhile, our fiddlers need to figure out a time of when we're going to launch them so they're in position for when the fireworks start. I'm going to go spy in Greenland real quick. No, looks like everything's okay so far. So how are we going to calculate that? Well, if you actually go over to the browse scenario platforms, you go to Blue 4 and you go to aircraft, let's just grab an F model. You'll notice that the cruise speed of an F model is 450 knots. Now that's 450 knots at 36,000 feet. So if we know when they launch, we can actually work out how long it's going to take them to get to this point. So that's 1430 nautical miles. So 1430 divided by 450. So that's going to be 3 hours, 0.17 times 60, 3 hours and 10 minutes for them to go a direct flight at 450 to this point. Keep in mind though that they have to climb, which means it's going to take significantly longer. You can probably expect about 3.5 hours to get to this particular point, which works great, which means we need to know when they launch, add 3.5 hours, and then subtract how long it's going to take our aircraft to get into position to know when to launch our mission. And that's really all there is to it. So let's go ahead and calculate that real quickly here. So our first distance here, I'll just leave myself a little note. Let's go deselect everybody. Flight time, whoop, escape. We're going to rename that one. Let's go find this is where our fiddlers are kept. It will take 610 nautical miles, the cruise speed of a fiddler. Again, this is just doing the math, as they like to say. Cruise speed of the fiddler is going to be 480. 480, 600. 600 divided by 480 is going to be an hour, 1.25 times 60. It's going to be an hour and 15 minutes. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to rename this hour 15 to station. And we should be a little bit more specific here. It's going to take them 1 hour and 15 minutes to get there. So we need to leave early enough to give them that much time to get there. Now this one on the flip side is going to take a significantly longer time, I assume. Let's go ahead and measure that real quickly. Actually, it's about the same. That worked out. Apparently somebody did the math. 600 divided by 480. That's an hour. Okay, hour and 15 also. 115 to East Station. So this will act as a reminder for us later on, so we know exactly when we can launch people and when we're ready to go. Again, we're just doing the math. Let's go ahead and calculate this distance as well. Yeah, it's about the same. That's really, really handy, I'm not going to lie. Let's go ahead and deselect everybody real quick. Let's go take a look at Greenland again. Nope, everything seems to be quiet still. Apparently the DEFCON warning we got earlier isn't actually true. Let's go ahead and rename that one as well. Hour 15 to West Station. So we know that we have to launch our aircraft so that we get there an hour and 15 minutes before the B-52s do. So when they launch, we can simply take their travel time, subtract an hour 15, and then make that our activation time for the given mission. Is that cool? Now, these are going to be a little bit tougher to calculate. We're going to have to basically do these on the fly, as you'll see a little later on, because we can't be early, because if early we run out of fuel. We can't be late, because then the bombers get through. So that'll be a little exciting. Let's go ahead and speed up time now. Now that I've got everything ready. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, B-52s, make it interesting. Now, there's an interesting metagaming way to actually detect when the B-52s get launched at us, and that's the fact that you're going to increase the CPU load on your desktop when they launch. It's a little metagamey, but I mean, I got a spy boat too, so it won't be all bad. So now the launch time is completely randomized, but in general, they'd like to launch to get there in the evening, which of course this time of year, it's always evening. So any moment now, they're going to suddenly get a lag spike. Oh man, I'm good. I'm good. Lovely. 1340, pause. Thank you, Spyboat. You've been wonderful. Thanks, Spyboat. Okay, so let's do it. So for them to get from here, go ahead and calculate that. That is 1,400 nautical miles at 450. So 1,400 nautical miles divided by 450 as a cruise speed is about 3 hours. So we'll get there right at 3 hours. So now we have 3 hours, but remember it takes us an hour and 15 minutes to get there. So we have to subtract minus 1.25, which means we need to leave in 1 hour, 0.86 times 60. 1 hour and 51 minutes from now is when we need to launch the center mission. All right, let's get Patrol Center. We need to launch it in 1 hour and 50 minutes. So right now that would give us a time of 14. That would be 55. And that is when the mission will activate. Excellent. Lovely. Okay, cool. So this particular group is now ready to go. So now let's go ahead and calculate the next group. So to get to this distance is 1,700 nautical miles. 1,750 divided by, let's say, 450 means about 4 hours minus 1.25. That's how long it's going to take us to get there. So 2.63 hours, 0.63 times 60 is going to be in 2 hours and 40 minutes for the east station. 2 hours and 40 minutes for the east station. So that's going to take us to 10 after. That's going to take us to 14, 15, 10. Mission is inactive. Beautiful. All right, now we're just going to calculate for our last position, which is going to be over here. Let's see here. That's, oh my gosh, that's a long distance. Let's say 1980 divided by 450. That's 4 hours and 40 minus 1.25 for the fiddlers to get in position is 3 hours, 0.15 times 60. 3 hours and 9 minutes from now, we can activate the west mission. So let's go ahead and set that up. Let's go do it. 1, 2, 3 hours. And then we need to add the 9 minutes. And we are awesome. Excellent. Okay, so now we wait patiently now that everything's been pre-programmed. Now in the real world, you're expecting them to actually attack us, but at the very least, we'll be ready to go when they get there. The next set of intercepts is going to be taking place in kind of this little central zone here. We're not going to be able to do anything with them until times get a little closer. Really crossing my fingers I didn't accidentally miss a decimal point there, because when you do that, you tend to be an hour late or an hour early, which of course for us is game over, because if we get there late, we've already lost the mission. Now it's worth noting the B-52s do carry the Hound Dog missiles, which have a tremendously long range. It's about 400 nautical miles. So this entire peninsula is basically going to get erased by 1 megaton nuclear weapons. So the next question is, now that we know they've launched, how are we going to know when they're about to get to us? Well, the first warning we're probably going to get is going to be from our picket submarines. You know, these things are going to start blooping and bleeping at us like crazy long before any trouble kind of comes around. Go double check my times real quick. Oh, Patrol Center has just been activated, which makes sense. And the next one's not until 1510. The next one's not until 1649. Now, if we had refueling capability, this would be a very different scenario because we could just keep refueling units in the air the whole time and basically protect us. Now, notice this group of fiddlers that just launched a moment ago. Notice we've got the other group coming over here. And then notice the last group isn't going to launch for a while because it takes a very long time for those B-52s to get into position. Now, if we've timed everything right, the fiddlers should be getting on station right around the time the first B-52s start to get noticed. Again, this can happen pretty much any time. Remember, though, those B-52s have to climb in order to get into position. So our 450 knots estimated speed is actually extremely, extremely generous. But the good news is we have a really long time up here before we need to worry too much about that. We're being jammed. It begins. Oh, one of our outside picket submarines getting jammed. Yes, my kill box is in good position. Yep, we're getting jammed. Here they come. There it is, our first victim. All right, let's begin. All right, now we have to get concerned here. Here's our first set of targets. They're going to be going, it looks like, if I had to predict, something like that. So they're going to be crossing the Sukhoi 9 max intercept position very shortly. Let's go ahead and prepare a mission for that. We'll use that as the basic zone in the center. So go ahead and grab that one. We'll go ahead and create a zone. By the way, you can control right click to go ahead and create a zone, including a circular zone, which is really cool. Let's go ahead and do one of these things. And that's going to be my Sukhoi, basically kill box, if you want to think about it another way. I'm actually going to orient it so it makes a little bit more sense. So when do we launch our Sukhoi 9s so that they get there on time? Because like I said, if we are late, we miss. We need them to get here when these guys get here. So let's figure it out. Let's see, they're doing 272 nautical miles. 272, they're doing 450. That means they're going to get there at 0.6 times 60. They will be there in 36 minutes. So our nice aircraft here, let's see what these guys are. Fish pots, which we're not going to use because they can't do anything. Let's go. Afrikanda's got the 15s. I think we need to go up to Kipia. Let's see here. Our cruise speed, I believe, is 450. I think we have to basically launch them now. 200. Yeah, we basically have to launch them almost immediately. The reason I say that, of course, is because of the fact that in order to get to this point from here, it's about 202 nautical miles. It's going to be almost as long as it's going to take them to get to that point. Keep in mind, we have things like afterburners and stuff like that that we can use. So we'll begin our launching of our Sukhoi 9s the moment that this particular group gets within the same intercept distance of our actual aircraft. So they're at 283 right now, and we are at 200. So when these get within 200, we're going to have to immediately start launching. Although realistically, we want to launch a little tiny bit early so that we have enough time to actually get aircraft airborne. Because remember, it takes about 2 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and create a new mission. We'll call this Su-9 Intercept. Let's go to patrol mode. We'll do an AAW patrol. We're actually going to deactivate that mission. So I'm going to remove this point. Move select the points, repeatable loop, prosecution area, add all points, except that one. We're going to get a really big group of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. We're going to grab 18 of those. Go ahead and do one of these things. Make sure you limit how many can attack at a time. It's a huge mistake. I almost always make it. Okay, so when these guys are the same distance, they're 282. For us, it is 203. We travel 203 divided by 450. It's going to take us 27 minutes to get there. 280 divided by 450. It's going to take them 37 minutes. So basically, we need to launch in 5 minutes. So we might as well just set that to go ahead and launch in 5 minutes. Pause real quick. Activation time is going to be at exactly 1700. And that should do it almost perfectly for us. That'll get them in position, on time, ready to fight, way before I even need to start getting concerned with it. Delightful. All right, let's see how the rest of the war is going on here. So my fiddlers are relaxing. They've still got a pretty hefty amount of time here. It looks like they have about 2 hours of fuel time, which is going to be delightful because we're going to need every gallon of it once things get interesting. Here comes our group of hostiles. We'll go ahead and flag them as such. Oh, we're getting another group. All right, this group looks like they're going to have to get engaged by the fiddlers. As a matter of fact, I'm going to study their exact trajectory. So it looks like they're going to be coming through this way. So I'm actually going to take my fiddler patrol zone, and we're going to drag it this way. It looks like they're not even needed over here, to be honest. We'll go ahead and order them over here, order them over here, order them over here. Beautiful. All right. Oh, we got more. My Su-9s are on the way. We can actually send in a bunch of Sukhoi 15s also into this battle. Oh, there's a lot. Oh, there's a lot. Get me about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, off you guys go. Now notice we're going to be entering the intercept zone. Oh, geez, there's more. Notice my fiddlers are exactly in the correct spot to intercept this guy. Perfection. All right, what is the trajectory of these guys? Yeah, I'm actually right in the kill zone. Not gonna lie. I did an all right job today. Here comes my Sukhoi 15s. Notice they're going to enter the area as the B-52s do. All right, no reason for them to get any closer and launch their hound dogs at us. And our first kill of the day. Have fun, guys. Dun, 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 dun. There they go. Scramble. And the air war begins. Welcome to World War III, everybody. Expand my zone just a teeny, teeny, tiny bit. And the war has started. Don't let that bomber get through. Nice. Nicely done, boys. Nicely done. There's another one. This one's already on it. Look at this. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. I ran out of fuel. No! One of them's going to get through. Oh, this is terrible. Oh, I hate these aircraft. They're so not good at this. Get going. Launch the next batch. I think that one's going to get through unless any of these guys still have fuel left. You are RTV. You're out of weapons. Let me double check my intercept rules here. You are not out of weapons. As a matter of fact, you're not out of weapons. What are you doing? Oh, he's out of fuel. Go ahead and send that guy on him. Let's go ahead and reassign him. So what happened here was basically the fiddlers only were allowed to do one attack based on their doctrine. So what I'm actually doing is reassigning them to go back to work here. Because otherwise, they're only going to do a single attack, and that's going to be it. Oh, perfect. So now this group of aircraft, how you guys doing up here? None of you guys should be returning to base right now. Good, I fixed it. Cool. So now this group of aircraft up here is going to be flying right through my Fiddler kill zone. So I'm going to allow them to do so, but we can actually get some Sukhoi 15s up there if we need it. All right, what are you guys doing? You are pretty low on fuel. Let me actually take a look at my doctrine one more time. I'm going to actually tell the aircraft to leave and return to base as that happens, because I don't want them to run out of everything. Yeah, bingo fuel. This particular group of aircraft right here, he's going to make a desperate attempt, a crazy dash to try to hit this one if he can. Because again, if that bomber gets through, you know what's going to happen. Uh-oh. I guarantee those are hound dogs. Yeah, I'm screwed. Nuclear weapons. Just want to say quickly that I'm extremely against nuclear weapons. I think they're... I'm not going to get into the political side of this, but if they could all go away, that would be amazing. I always feel bad kind of simulating these kind of scenarios. Okay, my guys up on this side are going to get overwhelmed very quickly. So what I'm actually going to do, this guy's run out of fuel, but that's okay. His buddy still has some fuel left. All right, so what I'm actually going to do is order up an intercept mission. And I haven't seen any trouble down on this side of things, which is really disturbing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an intercept mission. So what I'll do is I'll grab all these aircraft I don't care very much for up on this side. I'll type in intercept. That's my mission. That's how I spell intercept. There we go. Intercept. Press OK. I'm going to grab my 15s. I'll grab half of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Add all these. Add all these. And I'm also, of course, naturally going to grab all these aircraft here. Add them. Notice it doesn't mess up and add the wrong ones to it. And now those aircraft will actually automatically launch once they get into range, which is going to be awesome. Come on. Come on. You gotta intercept that aircraft. You should have flown an intercept trajectory like I told you to. Instead, you're gonna run out of ammo, or you're gonna run out of fuel first. Oh, oh no, the B-52's got to get away. Oh no. Again, this is because of their doctrine here. Do any of you guys have missiles left? Yeah, one guy does. So we're gonna go ahead and intercept if we can. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah, we got it. Also, we just got nuked again. All right, notice the Sukhoi 15s that I ordered up on that mission have now launched because they know they're going to be in a range where they actually can conduct the intercept. We just lost the entire northern sector's ability to detect other aircraft. Oh no, this is not good. Oh, I hate EMP. Great. Now there's a whole huge chunk of B-52s we can't even lock onto right now. Again, this is one of the reasons why the MiG-31 was such a popular aircraft. Oh, this is a disaster. Oh well. And notice my guy's down. Oh, whoa. Bingo. Come get some. Ha ha. Excellent. All right, how we doing? Okay, there's a bunch of B-52s right here. You can't see them, but they're there. We just can't lock on. Look at this. He's getting jammed. He's like right here, but we can't do anything about it because we're jammed and EMP'd. Bingo. I had a feeling they'd try to sneak through the north right there. Let's go ahead and throw together a group of my fish pots real fast. Let's go ahead and deselect all. Let's go ahead and create myself a control right click, define area rectangle, guard west, do a patrol, AEW patrol, fish pots. The other fish pots, go. Have fun. Not even gonna bother changing their rules here because it doesn't make any sense. Very unlikely we're gonna be able to protect anyway. Yeah, hopefully the SAM sites can do their thing here. The distances are just so much in this mission. Yeah, one's going to get through. Good news is I have an SA3 ready to go, as well as hopefully an SA2. That's the nuclear version. Of course, you want to be very cautious with those. They're not corrupt. There's another one. What's he doing? He's curving to the south. Interesting. Interesting. We have a bunch more hostiles. I guess those guys are already heading home. They're getting through. Ooh, that B-52 intentionally turned away. That was clever. Seems like his buddy is already doing the intercept. And he just launched his Hound Dogs. So shame on his navigation. He's not supposed to fly over Finland, but that's okay. Let's see how things are going this side. We're getting hammered. So hopefully our SA2Ds can do something about this. Got it. Nicely done, boys. Nicely done. Bonus pay. All right, let's see how we're doing up here. Our interceptors are doing the best they can. We got them. Nope. There they are. They keep running out of fuel. This is so annoying. And of course, I can't use this Klipperev because it got nuked, and I can't use this runway anymore. Oh, there's a lot more coming in that way. We got to plug that gap with something real fast. Okay, what do I have left? I can't use the. Oh, yeah, I can use these. Go get some. Come on, guys. You got to find them. They're in there somewhere. I know it's hard, but you've got to try. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. I just can't get a lock. They're flying too low for us. It's one of the big problems with these early weapon systems is they literally could not work at certain altitudes. We're trying to limit the damage. I don't know. Good news is we have some more aircraft coming up. A couple of our fiddlers are returning to base here. We have this one here. We have this one here. Looking pretty good. I think he's had a pretty good day so far. Incredible. Oh, that's right. These guys got all EMP, didn't they? These 15s? Yes. Okay. Revenge. Nicely done, 15s. Nicely done. Come on. You can do it. Oh, we just got tail gunned. Hate it when we look, got tail gunned again. Come on. This must be Slim Pickens B-52 right there. Oh, we got more trouble. These guys are on their way out. They're not even on their way in. I should have put more defense down here. I couldn't. I just didn't have the resources at my disposal. But it looks like Petersburg did a pretty darn good job as far as protection goes. Oh, we can hit that. It's below our engagement altitude. Oh no, they're just gonna fly right over the top and we can't do anything about it. Oh, this is so futile. Yes, the low-level penetration technique was the correct answer for invading another country with surface-to-air missiles of this generation. All right, I think we're about done here as far as the best we could do with what we had. So that was pretty embarrassing, but at the same time, as we'll see just how well we did in a minute, you'd be actually kind of surprised that you can actually do better than you thought you did in this particular scenario. But at the same time, as the losses and expenditures are going to be really, really messy. Go ahead and speed up time a little bit here. You're going to see a lot of explosions happen all of a sudden, and that's going to be all the aircraft that got through. And trust me, there are tons. Whew, we did the best we could. We intercepted. We pre-calculated times. We got people in the right position at the right time. We just did not have the resources at our disposal to do as much damage as we could. Obviously, if we had the rest of PVO on this side of things, we could have protected Petersburg. And we did a really, really nice job blocking this side. We did an amazing job blocking the center. Nothing got through the center. And unfortunately, we lost a good chunk of our assets up here. Our entire northern fleet is probably devastated. I'm going to actually switch to God's Eye View real quick. There's only a couple that got through. Oh, you can see the refueling track and everything. That's so cool. All right, let's see how we did. All right, so we have our losses and expenditures, and let's go ahead and take a look at our scoring. I expect it to be less than 2,000. Oh my gosh, this is like the highest score I've gotten in this so far. I usually get about a minus 1,000. Again, in nuclear warfare, there are no winners. I know you're looking at me with rolling eyes, but let's see how we did. So we lost 6 cities. Ouch. We went through an awful lot of SAMs, but that's perfectly fine. That worked pretty good. We lost a good amount of our industrial plants and structures. We lost some aircraft. Actually, we didn't do bad on aircraft in the slightest here. We've only lost a total of, it looks like 14 aircraft, which is awesome. On the other side, you can see that we shot down 27 B-52s, which is less than half. They went through quite a few quails, which are basically these really, really clever decoy missiles, and they went through a lot of hound dog missiles, which would pretty much been most of their inventory. They also dropped an awful lot of conventional bombs on us, that's pretty bad. That means they got through. But at the very least, you're able to kind of see what this scenario looks like, in its entirety. All right, hopefully this has been interesting to you. Again, this was a fun scenario to build. The link for this particular scenario is located in the description below if you want to play with it. If this is something you want me to play around with some more, I can. Hopefully you could see how I did my timing and intercept missions. But other than that, enjoy.